did that really happen? So keeping in my first year of real estate, again, first set of listings, had an investor. He had this property in, I believe it was on Short Washington Street in Monroe. So we're driving down to the property. I'm following him, get to it. He said, you can't miss it. It's got brand new vinyl siding on it. So I'm pulling around and I'm like, oh yes, this is gonna be a nice one. New vinyl siding was like taupe or tan in color. It really stood out in the neighborhood. But as we got closer to it, just about every window was busted out. So we get out of the truck, the door was wide open. We start going inside and looking, and this was kind of as you expected. It had been vandalized on the inside, and there was unspeakable things all over the floor. But as we're going around and we go to the get to the bathroom, I'm shining a light in there. And I said, there's already light in that room. So I walk in, shine a light, and the stinking bathtub had fallen through the floor. Pier and beam house had fallen through the floor and was sitting on the ground. I don't know if it was rot or termites, but that kind of gives you an indication of the condition of the house. So we had the house on the market for a couple of months. I don't know if we had any offers on it or not, but I get this call from a guy in California. And he says, hey, Brian, I just want to call you and see if this is a mistake. I said, okay, well, what is it? And he said, well, I see this house that's listed on Short Washington. And maybe at the time, I don't know if it was somewhere in the teens we had, I don't know, 15,000, 13,000 we had it listed for. And he said, I'm looking at the thing online. I see the pictures. There's no interior pictures. I said, well, it's in pretty bad shape. But he said, the outside looks good. I said, well, most of the windows are busted out. He says, I get that. But it's so close to the university. And maybe as a crow flies, we're like 1.5 miles to ULM. And he's thinking home prices in California, being this close to the university, he's going to make a score on it. I said, well, look, let me go back out to the house. And this was before, it's 2006, so it was before we had like camera phones and all that stuff. So let me go back out to the house and let me take some pictures, and I will email those pictures to you so you can have a better idea of what's going on. He said, perfect. So I go out there. At that time, we had these digital cameras that we had to put the 3.5-inch floppy disk in. Had like a fisheye lens on it. So I go out and I take some pictures of the house, and even though the bathtub sitting on the floor, and I send these pictures to him. He said, dude, I can't take, I want it. I mean, we think he'll take 10,000. So I think we sold that house to him for like 10,500. And he was just as happy as he could be. He had all the details of it. He knew the condition, neighborhood and everything, but he just couldn't imagine that he wasn't going to have people that would be willing to rent this place out from him. So I didn't follow back up. So we sold the property to him. A couple of years later, I was having to go through that same neighborhood, and the house was gone. I'm like, what the heck happened? Well, apparently either he came down and looked at it, or he just forgot about it. And the city decided that it's nobody's maintaining it. So the city adjudicated the property, and they tore the house down. So one of the first houses I sold ended up getting tore down because I guess he finally realized it wasn't as good as he thought it was.